Hey guys, welcome to our latest adventure here in the kitchen. We're going to be doing zero cooking today, so we still have all kinds of opportunities for chaos because there's knives and fish and a lot of little bottles that we've already knocked over once. So we'll certainly have a lot of kitchen chaos even though we're not doing it with fire. We'll get started. I was just doing a thing here. You're kind of either a raw onion house or you're not. And Heather's a huge not fan of raw onions. I don't kind of love them enough that I care either way. But if you do want to do stuff with raw onions, you can always there's a thing, you like a little bit of cold, and it's just how it's taught to me, so I kind of don't know, exactly what the science is. But like ice in the thing, a little bit of vinegar, and a little bit of water. I think and hope that's regular vinegar. It is. It gives it a tiny little, depending on how much vinegar you use versus water, it gives it a tiny bit of, a little bit of vinegariness. But it's a way to take kind of the bite off of raw onion. And these are sweet onions anyway, so it's not terrible. But anyway. So I just wanted to note that. So why are we using raw onion? Today we're going to make some poke. I impulse bought some tuna, and when I say some tuna, I mean some actual tunas. There were like about 13 pounds a piece. There's even a Facebook group for it. We'll post a little link to them. A boat here called the St. Jude that goes fishing. Right now, there's no farmers markets, or there are fewer farmers markets open for them to sell their fillets to the public, and a lot of restaurants aren't open. And the ones that are with the curbside, blah blah blah. Generally, you're not ordering sushi and sashimi, with your curbside whatever. So, the sashimi market for distributors and all, it's just hit. So, these guys started selling to the public, and so whole tuna. Completely, frozen solid at sea, just whole round fish, not not gutted or anything. They were selling them $3 a pound, which is like stupid cheap. And so I luckily got out there the day before everybody went nuts, and so I stood in I think I got there 15 minutes before 10 and left 5 minutes after 10, and there were other people who went there and waited in line for hours, and so. I'm sorry to everyone who went there, on my advice of hey, it's easy, you just go whatever. So anyway, so we get some really nice tuna. We fabricated it earlier, and you'll see a video of that. But we're going to do that for today's thing because let's just have a nice time. Before we start with that though, we're going to do a little Asian slaw kind of stuff, So we have some incredibly ugly cabbage, so we're going to take the outside leaves off, whatever. Cabbage sometimes has a hard life before it gets to you. So I'll just stick this here and we'll figure out if this is hey, we should save this and do something, or if it's, we're just going to pitch it. But
I think we're going to pitch it.
Yeah, see, that's... And see, it's fine if Heather says that we're going to pitch it because there's, life's too short for sketchy cabbage and whatever, right? That's not what we want to do. So, cabbage is here. We're going to the way I always deal with cabbage is I just I knock it straight in half. So you can kind of set it in whatever way it's least likely to, be a pain. The little structure of it inside is, everybody knows this. Geez, everyone should have cut cabbage at some time. So, go away, fly. So this thing, you don't want that. So, this is no different from, how anybody does any cabbage, anything for whatever sort of coleslaw action they got going on. We're going to do kind of a, a little islandy something sort of theme. I don't know, maybe soy and we've got some ginger and whatever else that we're going to do with that. So, I'm going to set one of these out of the way. We'll continue to not put suspect pieces of cabbage in our little, oh hell, again, life's short. And also, like each little bit of cabbage, you kind of get a lot of cabbage out of it. So, you know, I mean, the physics of it, right? You look, so you kind of want to make it nice and thin.
Got some nice knife action going there. Fingers are tucked in.
Yeah, see? Here, as you look here on the side, like that way, you know, you never want like that because then it's easy to cut things, you know, and as you can see, the fish took a swipe at me earlier, but, you know, it's okay. I prevailed. You know, the fish is no longer with us, but, you know, but they got some sharp little bones in those things.
So for those of you who come on a few minutes later, it seemed like it was having some trouble showing up on your page. So there's a few people that have just popped on. So we are doing poke, and we're doing like kind of a Asian slaw. You know, some of the ingredients that you might normally use for this, we don't have, and we didn't want to make a special shopping trip just to go out and do this. So we're just trying to use what's in the fridge, which kind of, or, you know, in the pantry, which kind of became an interesting challenge. So, you know, I like cucumber with poke. I also like avocado with poke. We don't have those things today.
Yeah,
so,
right, yeah.
So we got a little creative.
We're not making, you know, unnecessary trips to the grocery for like 2 things. So,
yeah.
You know, we'll sort of show you, you know, some things that we are going to do, and then, yeah. We'll talk a little bit, yeah, about some other nice little things you could make along with it, and yeah. Instead of the avocado, we're going to do like a little spicy mayo, you know, which is kind of a similar, you know, it's a little fat kind of base thing, which is a nice little component to have, particularly if you do it spicy.
And then we've got some white rice going in the Instant Pot. So you could do this, if you can serve it a few different ways. You can serve it kind of as a poke bowl. You could serve it with, we'll show you with nori papers. There's a few different options. So
yeah. So for our slaw, my old boss Marcus Mason used to, you know, he used to say, look, we asked him about, you know, hey, I was gonna go get Thai food for lunch or something, you know, do you want? And he's like, I'm Thai. Everything I eat is Thai food. And so, you know, by the same logic, you know, I'm a white guy, so it's not an Asian slaw here. I can maybe call it a Cajun slaw if you want, but you know, if I'm going to make it, it's a white guy slaw. But it's, yeah, we're going to do the sort of soy gingery, you know, I don't know, some different flavors there, and sesame, I think, and whatever. So, this is this is a quarter of a cabbage. So, it's probably not that interesting to just watch me cut cabbage the whole time. So we're going to say this is enough cabbage for, you know, purposes, and we will go on. We'll just, you know. That's nice. Cabbage will store a long time. So, you know, it's always easy to just take it, like throw a cling film, put it in the fridge, and it'll be good the next time, you know, you want to use it. So we'll start with this. And yeah, let's do, yeah, a little bit of, a little bit of stuff. Here's the, what is it? All right, a little wacky cruet here. So, So for the slaw, we're gonna, we had cut up earlier. We talked about our little cheats. Earlier we had cut up some bell pepper and some and we've gotten some cilantro and not prepped it. So that's cool. So this is like a bell pepper, maybe with the amount of slaw, but we're gonna put, you know, half a bell pepper and the other is for our next batch of slaw. This is, you know, I really could have gotten some different color bell pepper, except I couldn't because we only had orange. So this is going to be just, you know, the weirdly colored thing with different shapes or whatever. And you know, just that's fine. It'll be less attractive than our normal slaw, but I guess we're just going to have to be okay with that. And I think, so we've got these pickled onions here. And I'm going to, I think we'll do those in the slaw, and I'm just going to quickly kind of, I don't know, they're a little, I'm going to just like throw you.
Just dice them up a bit.
Yeah.
So Lindy's asking any color bell pepper, and Lindy, anything will work. He's just talking about, in terms of the color, he was thinking the contrast would have been nice if we had red or green, but we don't. So
I think red bell pepper is so cool next to cabbage, But like, say, yeah, I promise there's carrots in there, guys. I don't know,
Yeah,
whatever,
carrots
so.
and
Yeah.
orange bell peppers. And then, so the story with the pickled onions is that these are just refrigerator pickled onions.
Here, I'm gonna put this out for you.
This is my little thing. I'm the vegetable person. So I make these in a jar. It's just regular white distilled vinegar. You can't really see them very well here, but regular white distilled vinegar, and then you heat the vinegar and add in salt. There's proportions to all that. And then basically you stick them in a clean canning jar. Make sure it's, sterilized clean. Pour the vinegar solution over it with your, kind of herbs and spices. And that's it. And they keep for quite a long time in the refrigerator. I won't say exactly how long, because I think, they always say in the recipes like 2 weeks, and we keep them for like 3 months. So, yeah, play fast and loose with the expiration
but we
dates.
advise you not to do that.
But it's vinegar and salt, so it's a pretty calculated risk. Anyway, so they're really relatively easy, and if you haven't ever made vinegared, pickled onions, I recommend giving it a try. These are done with red onions, which is what makes the lovely pink color. So he's got some cilantro here. That
right there is my one, little trick about cilantro and parsley is a lot of time, this is kind of my workhorse knife. It's not my sharpest one. Like the big 12-inch version of this is a little sharper. If you kind of just take a super sharp knife and you don't even angle it, you kind of just right there go along, you often will just pluck, obviously that's not a great job, but you see a bunch of these, it just kind of like, catches enough of the leaf that it just kind of, grabs it off of the things. And you can even turn it just a tiny bit to give it a little bit more oomph. But it's a decent way, instead of plucking a bunch of nonsense off your whatever leaves and things, to just quickly deal with it. This wasn't too bad. We got a bunch here. I used to really hate cilantro. Now I just dislike it, but I think it's appropriate, as a flavor in things. Kind of when there's some of it, I'm like, okay, whatever. But, I just, we've at least kind of made our peace. So we're going to, I guess having done that, we're just going to chop it a tiny little bit. My fingers are nowhere near, so, we're still doing our little food safe action. Yeah, so there you go. Just a little bit of a kind of rough chop, just because, giant leaves of cilantro. We've made our peace, but it's not like we're inviting each other over all the time or anything. So anyway, yeah, so there we go, that. And then, so for the dressing, we have sort of different proportions, and, I don't know, it's a little wacky sometimes. I think we will do a little...
so this is sesame oil.
Is sesame oil. It's a good thing to use this first, or whatever. You test to make sure it's not rancid, before you put everything else in, and then it turns out your sesame oil's rancid. That's just life with sesame oil. Sometimes it gets old.
That one's just from Trader Joe's, so nothing too fancy. We're
gonna put a little bit of rice vinegar. We don't want it too sweet, but it's just a nice little kind of vinegary note, I guess. And there's not these proportions will do all this and then be like, God, that's terrible or something, and then go do something different. So it's not like anything ironclad. I think I'm gonna put a little. So this is like cheap soy sauce. We got some black garlic though, and I threw it in here a while ago, and it's a pretty interesting little flavor now. So I'm gonna add a little bit of soy, and then what is this? Well, this is I guess some chili oil. We probably save that for the what's it.
Can y'all tell he's making this up as he goes along here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did not in any way this was not oh, hey, you got to do it like this, because it's just wackiness. It's oh right, we're gonna put ginger. So we had ginger all ready to go, and then we ran out of time because fish. So you can meticulously grate some ginger, or you could put a little bloop of some ginger, from the
tube.
Yes.
Tube ginger.
Yeah, it's the finest tubes in the land that we've gotten here to go put.
Also Trader Joe's.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll throw a little ginger in. That's pretty good. I think I think we're gonna. Can I put a little spice? You good?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna just unabashedly say I like as cool as the regular. I forgot the dude's name. But the regular like the regular sriracha guy with the thing and the rooster and all that. I freaking love this Tabasco brand because there's a little like garlic hit to it that you don't get much in the other, and it's I don't know, it's just good. So yeah, that's great. So I'm gonna add a little of that too.
So he's a little biased about the Tabasco brand because...
Well, honestly, Tabasco is not my favorite hot sauce. It's not my favorite Louisiana hot sauce. So it's often not what I choose if I'm just doing hot sauce. But like this is great. They have the soy sauce. Tabasco soy sauce is just utterly amazing. It's a nice hot little thing. A lot of times I'll dab it on, put a couple drops on an oyster or something. Oh, it's just good. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to spray dressing all over the kitchen. You can do all kinds of different, like hot mustard would be good in here. You can do wasabi as, like that kind of horseradishy thing. You can, or you can just shut up and then put it because it's really tasty as is. That little vinegar, yeah, it gives it a nice little kick for the slaw. Even though I make that face when I eat it, it's still, I'm eating straight dressing, guys, so come on.
So your mom put Dad says, oh no, he's not a cilantro fan or slaw for that matter.
I already told him, look, Oh, actually, I didn't yet. Yeah. It used to give me a gag reflex, like straight up, like I'm eating a stink bug. What are you people doing? This leaf is terrible. And so...
And you somehow talked yourself into it. That's what I think is amazing.
Yeah, I didn't want there to be some food that I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. So, I mean, me and Frizzy are still trying to work out our differences, and like, I'm not a whole fan of like their cousin, the radicchio, and all this mess. But cilantro and I still think a little bit like, God, I'd like this better if it weren't here. But like I said, there's like a note that's, I can appreciate it. It's, whatever. So anyway, so having, flumped a tiny bit on the ground there, we will go on and do some fish stuff.
So that's looking pretty.
Yeah.
Even with all that orange, see, it all works out in the end.
It does.
It smells good too. It's like umami fragrance.
So,
umami.
Yeah, we'll talk quickly about tuna because it's it's totally okay if I think before I had great tuna for the first time and everything else. It's like, you see it red sometimes in sushi and white, and it's like, I don't know, maybe it turns white in the canning process, I don't know. But there's different sorts of tuna, and so this is not blue or yellowfin tuna. What we're using is albacore tuna. That's the kind that they catch off the coast of Washington. There may be other kinds out there, but this kind is the albacore. And so this is mostly like a kind of a white fleshed fish. It's completely fine to eat raw, as long as it's been, maintained at good temps. And we could go on for minutes about like, the kind of temperatures that I took of the water and the things and how I thawed it and everything else. But, we made sure that it stayed like well under, under 40 degrees. In fact, it was still a little tiny bit frozen as I was like on the inside as I was parting it out even. So, but that and then free, like it's really, it's the best if you're using wild caught. I wouldn't use farm caught for just about anything, but wild caught, there's parasites out in the world, so you want to make sure that that it's been frozen completely solid, and then you should be completely fine. Again, like assuming you're also handling at safe temperatures throughout the rest of the chain. But freezing it solid kills the parasites. I forgot what temperature it is that. But
it's like crazy cold.
It makes it safe.
It's not like your freezer.
Well, the crazy cold is more about making sure it freezes quick, like that flash freezing thing, because the quality of the thing is not going to be as good if it freezes slowly. So, we will, grab this. So we have this, so we got our slaw. We're going to set the slaw aside for a minute, and I think we will. So you can do all kinds of things with poke. Poke itself is like like the Hawaiian term for it. There's other there's
ceviche. Ceviche.
Yeah, many regions have. Well, maybe, but I just mean like the raw, like tuna-y thing cut up with stuff in it. You know, I mean like there's, a lot of, a lot of like Asian cuisines have kind of their version of this and whatever. So, I'm not going to get into like what's right and accurate, and in fact, I'll straight up tell you, I'll get into it far enough to say this is not like, super accurate poke. But I'll also say, much like everything else, right? Make stuff and eat it, and then if it's good to you, cool. So, you can make something that I think you would be happy to call poke by like getting some fish, getting like some sesame oil, some soy, or kind of other thing like that. Like sesame seeds, you can like some chives, some onion, and from there you can kind of wander off. You can choose to put or not put onion. You can do all kinds of other things. There's furikake and different little things you can sprinkle on it and whatever else. But so whatever, like don't say, hey, this is like Hawaiian poke and it's all super whatever. But at the same time, if it's awesome, then and you're enjoying the things together, then go for it. All right, so let's do a little bit of fish stuff here. So, so this is one of the loins. You can see we're going to post the video of like breaking down one of these guys, the one that we did earlier. But you get basically four. There's like four quadrants, almost like a halibut, even though it's a round fish, not a flat fish. You get this, but one of the things along like the lateral bones, you get this thing called the bloodline, and this is not bad to eat, or it's not unsafe to eat, but it's also not very tasty. It's very strongly flavored. So we are going to kind of cut out this bloodline a little bit here. Going to try and go in just a little and kind of see, am I losing too much? And I'm not, and so I'm going to keep, kind of going along there. Kind of might have nicked a little deep there, but this part of the bloodline you can kind of like get. That's not too bad because just it would have been a little bit under there. And then kind of back in this part of the fish, a lot of like in here, you almost, as long as you're seeing a decent bit on the surface, you kind of like can cut just a little away here and get it. And then once it sort of goes where it just looks like a line, you kind of come down in here and you can, you kind of almost like make a little V cut and you can kind of get it out that way. So anyway, yeah. So
whoa,
yeah.
Sorry about that, everybody.
Whoops.
Bumping the camera.
All right, so we're just going to start here. It's not like this is going to go to waste, but there's stuff that the cook eats in the back of the kitchen with the other cooks or so, and then there's stuff that everybody eats together, and or that you serve to the guests perhaps. So yeah, I think I'm gonna, just because it's nicest, we'll put these pieces aside. We can go after that for more things. So that when you're doing something like poke, it's nice if you
so if you get
sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, if you get a cut of this like at the store, you're not going to be, you're not necessarily going to have to clean it up like this. It's probably already going to come fairly cleaned up.
Yes, yeah, most definitely. And you can, if there's any scales or any whatever, it's, if you're right about to eat it, some people will rinse it, but really it's best to kind of just brush it off. If you're really want to rinse it, you can hit it with some salt water. Fresh water on this, especially if it sits at any amount of time, ends up making it a little meh. So you can trim, kind of like the stuff on the outside off a little bit. Particularly if it's been frozen, you can do that. I don't always do that if I'm just kind of here eating or whatever, because it's whatever. It's just us, and I don't like to waste stuff. So the thing that we want is to make something that's going to dice nicely. So again, we can like go after this to find more of pieces like that. But if we just start with like, kind of a piece here and just shore it up, you know, we want some nice cubes. And you know, you want to get a nice sharp knife. And then, again, I might could have used my other one. But you know, it's not like you have to go buy a special knife for this. Just, you know, try to you know, slice it. You know, you don't want to be powering through this. You want to just use the sharpness of your knife and even the weight of your knife to, you know, to kind of
nice
slice
and
it a little
slow.
bit. Yeah. So yeah, we can, you know, so we can like, and it, you know, there's like different styles of poke. You can have different size, you know, kind of like, I've seen it with fairly small diced, you know, kind of fish, or a little bigger pieces. I think we're going to go with it about like this. It's beautiful fish, and you know, yeah, I'll share that I took a little taste of a piece of it earlier. It's fantastic. So here, yeah, we're gonna, as gently as we can, because, you know, I mean, the pieces of this are not, you know, it's not like, if it's still like a little bit frozen, a lot of times people will use it and like sort of partially thaw it, but then when it's still a little bit frozen, they'll actually cut the thing, because it's a little easier to dice, you know, and kind of keep your pieces looking really pretty if the fish is still a tiny bit not, you know, finished thawing.
Maybe. A little smaller, maybe.
What's that? Okay.
Yeah. That looks like a big mouthful for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Yeah, we'll see. You're right.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say hi to some. AJ says, "Poke, Angela." Yeah, tuna puns are welcome, everybody. I had queued up some tuna jokes, but I don't think we're gonna have time to fit them in. But But yeah, Corinne says she's having deja vu. Mom says she's having trouble getting it to work on her iPad, but she's got it on the laptop. So way to troubleshoot, Mom.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
some IT support there. Leah is looking forward to the recipe because she's not gonna be able to remember all the ingredients.
Yes, we'll do it too. You know, me neither, but we can always just go back and grab it from the thing here. All right, yeah. This is the. We had like part of the thing was still a little bit, you know, not. Part of the thing was still a little bit frozen, and so the pieces like kind of came. The pieces kind of, you know, one of the, like the end of the loin started to, you know, almost like come apart a little bit from, you know, between the frozen and the not frozen part. So, you know, so that's why we've got a little bit of this stuff that is, you know, where it looks like a little bit torn. But, you know, whatever. We're still, I mean, once y'all aren't looking, I'm probably just going to dump soy sauce on that and eat it. But,
and if you didn't want to do that, what are the other things you might do with it? Fish tacos.
Yeah, so yes, fish tacos would be lovely. You can yeah, I mean, this will ceviche up as well as anything else. You know, if you like hit it with some ceviche is a little different here because you hit it with like lime, you know, citrus or vinegar or something else, and the acids, often alcohol too. Acids or alcohol will denature the proteins and. You know, and at the same time, that, you know, I mean, it makes an environment that it's not very good for, you know, pathogens or whatever else. So you'll end up with it sort of, you know, chemically cooked and sanitized, and then you can eat it. So, so it's a nice, you know, it's island, you know, kind of stuff. A lot of times, you know, when things get a little bit old, they'll that's how they keep selling fish after, you know, they might not sell it in other ways. But it's a nice thing to do here at home. Fish tacos are great. In fact, all the trim, I talked about this in the other thing, like a lot of this, I'm not going to put the bloodline in stuff that we're going to eat, but like, you know, this is a lot of not bloodline. So all that trim, I just kind of keeping it as we go through the, you know, these tuna, and I'm going to do something with that. It's going to be maybe, you know, something like a cioppino or a bouillabaisse. You know, like, bouillabaisse is a lot shellfish, but I think whatever. I mean, you know,
you still need a broth to get it going. Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. So we also kept all the bones and everything else. So I talk more about, you know, the fish, you know, remnants and stuff in the other we shot the video of the, you know, shenanigans earlier. Second tuna I'd ever cut in my life, and so, you know, it's a whole ride. You know, there's triumphs and whatever's.
So Corinne had asked if this is the same fish as yesterday, and Corinne, he's done 2 of the 3 that we bought now, so this is the second one. So this one is a little prettier than the one you guys saw yesterday, I think.
Yeah. This is number 2. So.
And for those of you who joined a little late, we videoed. So he had to do it outside because you know it's a fish. Yeah, that is gorgeous. So we videoed him fabricating the fish, but it's not a live stream, so at some point we'll post that. We were gonna do both the one that he did today, and then he'll probably do another one tomorrow morning, and we'll see which video comes out better and post it so you can see how he broke down the tuna. And Dick Carroll says, do you ever can the tuna? Dick, I've never canned anything that is that requires a pressure canner. I've only done things that are like, you know, the easy canning, vinegar and sugar, basically. But I was watching someone else, you know, as a result of this being sold here in Seattle, there's other people who bought some and have done that and posted it on Facebook. And so I'm actually curious to try it. It looks like a new challenge, so we'll see. Probably not this batch, but maybe in the future. I know people that actually go to the coast every year and buy their tuna and then, you know, can it for the year, so.
Yeah.
And I think my mom has done it. Mom, have you done it?
The guys on the St. Jude actually can a ton of this and then sell it, and it's like kind of high. You know, it's not like canned tuna. You know, it's kind of high end. But yeah, I think tunatuna.com or something is their site where they do that. So yeah, so we have some really nice fish. We put up like the little, you know, weirder parts are on the very top, so it doesn't look as amazing. But you know, whatever. We'll hit that in a second. We'll get to that part and turn it all over. But yeah, let's go talk about some poke stuff. So I think you don't want to drown this in stuff, so we kind of want to be a little bit light with the amounts of things that we're going to put in. So we have like a couple kinds of soy sauce. This is like it's made in Hawaii. This is like our sort of, you know, not whatever, you know, we put this in stuff, right, when you're going to have things in things. This is a brand that we get. I think it's usually from Ojimaya. It's like the, you know, for the higher end things. You know, if you're gonna have just this on a little piece of fish or something for sashimi or whatever else, or, you know, dip your sushi in something. It's a, you know, I mean, a lot of soy has got almost a little harsh thing, and so I'm gonna add a little bit of this just to, you know, for this one, because it's just kind of going in there. And again, you know, whatever. It's just gonna be like, I don't know. I believe in like minimal amounts of screwing with you know, when you have something awesome like this, it's like, let's do the least, you know, that we can do to it and still make it kind of tasty. Put a little bit of this, and you can kind of see and correct and whatever at the end.
Dick says that Sean and Dana Overman do the canning thing.
Oh, that's cool.
And my mom has done the northern pike from North Dakota. Northern pike is a fish that my stepdad catches every time he goes up to North Dakota, so I guess there's quite a bit of that.
This is a little chili macadamia oil, so it just throws a tiny bit of spice in there. It's not overwhelming, and it doesn't bring like, it's macadamia, but it's, you know, it doesn't bring like a ton of flavor that then you're like, oh, what is all that? We're gonna get our onion pieces that we did earlier. I tried to cut this like as thin as I could. And it, you know, some of the pieces we kind of nailed it. You know, it's almost translucent. Some of the pieces not as nailed. I had dunked this in for the people who didn't show up until a little bit after we started, in a little bit of ice and vinegar, with the goal of just reducing a little bit, you know, just taking the hit a little bit off of that raw onion thing. You know, oops, sorry. You know, we're kind of with raw onions here, but it's, you know, it's like a flavor that is valid in there. We'll put some chives in too. These are, you know, we've chives
from the
outside.
yard. We have these huge chive bushes.
Yes, yeah, and they're already going to seed puffs and everything. It's crazy. And so yeah, we're just gonna wing it with like that amount. So this is, you know, whatever I put. This is probably, if that's it's definitely not 2 ounces, I'm sure. that amount of stuff.
I forgot to get the sesame seeds out. Do you want sesame seeds?
I would love sesame seeds. Yeah.
I will direct you to where they are.
That's cool. All right. I'm gonna just quick get the oil off my hands because I want to not leave it everywhere.
Thanks, Corinne.
All right, what do you got? Is it in
Top drawer on the left in a jar. Other side, probably. No. That's the right drawer. I'm at the other side of the drawer.
Ah, okay. I was looking at a different. Looking for a different jar.
We keep our sesame seeds in the freezer so they keep a little longer.
Yeah, they don't go rancid
and
as much.
tend to go rancid.
We'll put that back in just a second, but let's get a.
It's funny, I have like the nose between the two of us. I can smell things that, Chris is always amazed how my nose is like crazy functional. But when it comes to things that are rancid, Chris is the master of that. And the only thing I can figure is maybe because I lived in a hot climate, like we just ate rancid stuff all the time, and that, you know.
That's just sesame seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
He's super sensitive to that. Okay, it's looking pretty good, guys. I kind of want to just eat some while I'm standing here with the camera.
So yeah, we were sad to not have any yeah, we're just gonna set that real quick there. We missed out on being able to get avocado. We weren't gonna go like out, you know, and make a special trip for like 2 things just because that seems like, you know, it was a crazy day what with all the fish earlier, but you know, even one fish being all the fish. But also it's just, you know, whatever.
Social distance
if we're doing
your
Corona,
ingredients.
Yeah, so this is like about Corona cooking, then we shouldn't be advising people to go out for one damn avocado, as much as avocados are amazing. So we're gonna do a little bit of sriracha-y mayo.
So for people who tuned in, show them the sriracha sauce again. This is a Tabasco.
Sriracha, and I'm sure
this
you're
is
like,
not sriracha.
what
it's
insights do the
sriracha.
Cajuns have to Vietnamese cooking? But it's a really good one of those. Yeah.
So
like, you know, like avocado's a nice little bit of fat, and so this is kind of, you know, this gives you that
balances that out a little.
Yeah. So there's this. Yeah, and so we have.
So I'm just gonna like tour through here a little
Yeah.
bit. So we have, this is like some of the ingredients he used, and then some other condiments. That black garlic soy sauce is something we've never talked about on here, but can you hold up that bottle so I can just show people? This stuff is something a friend gave us. Allison gave us a bottle of this for, I don't know, for Christmas or something, and it is amazing.
It's stupid good. Yeah, it's so good that I don't put it with anything else. Like, I refuse to. Yeah, that's just like you just eat that.
We put it on broccoli and roast it in the oven. Like, we put it on steak. Like, there's all kinds of things you can do with it. It's amazing. So if you have never tried that, I strongly recommend it.
Let's say you're out of nori, you know, or you don't ever have nori, you know, or that's one of the things that you didn't like. These are like these little snack, whatever, you know, kind of things from Costco. They're not flavored; it's just a neutrally kind of thing. And like, if you do this, you know, these are pretty oily because they roast them, you know, in oil. But it's a nice little, you know, kind of add to your kitchen floor or to your, you know, to your, you know, little
Of
poking
course.
thing or whatever.
I just swept for this today, so yeah.
That's fine. We'll go and get it.
And then we've got what else over here?
Yeah.
Some other things.
Yeah. So we can talk about other
that.
things that we do. Yeah. It's kind of. Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe start with the can since I'm already pointing this way.
Gotcha. Sorry, let me get this and then yes. All right. So wasabi, you can like put wasabi in, like put it in some soy sauce if you like that. Or like I said, in the dressing for like the slaw, the horseradish is really good in kind of like a, you know, that.
Is that flavor set?
Yeah, that slaw thing that we were doing. This is furikake. It's It's kind of like furikake, but not quite. Yeah, it's actually not, is it? Oh yeah, this is just the seaweed flakes. All right, so yeah, this you can add a lot of times. Like what I did there was like a sort of fake to like either this or like a cutting up nori or doing other kind of things to it. So there's also this like tendrily stuff, and I forget what it is.
So would you put that on top, or what would you do with it?
Yeah, kind of sprinkle it on top or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can actually just add this right to the thing, as like a little, whatever thing. If you sprinkle it all cool, it looks interesting, and then yeah, the pieces go. So there's a couple of ways that we do this. Do I have to like let it out?
You should turn it off. I don't know. Are you gonna open it pretty soon?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should release the steam.
We're basically, we're
So
mounting on.
so we use the Instant Pot for pretty specific things. We're not like huge Instant Pot people, but one of our favorites is rice, also beans. Just like straight up, basic cooking of either of those things goes a lot faster and is pretty consistent. So we put some Calrose rice in the Instant Pot, and that's been going. You want to also push the off button so that it stops heating. It doesn't dry out.
I always fail at, by the way, is that.
I'm kind of the Instant Pot person. He's less interested in it, but I find it just really useful for some pretty basic,
No, I like it.
He doesn't eat as much of the rice, beans, kind of carb grain stuff as I do either. So I also make oatmeal in the Instant Pot. It's awesome. Okay.
So sometimes we'll whether it's poke or whether it's just like raw tuna, we'll like get like some squares of nori, right, that we bought, or these things are kind of fun too. These little soy wrappers.
Especially if you have kids and they don't like the nori.
Yeah, and a lot of times, what we're trying to do here with all these different little things is it's kind of almost like it's almost more like the. A nori, like a taco bar, right? Then like, here's this taco that you have to eat. So, that's weird. Usually there's 5 colorful wrappers, but they're kind of all like one color, more or less. But yeah, so like these are soy, and they're yeah. So, you can do it kind of like like Heather said, you set up and make a hole. Or you can put little different things out, and you can get different. If you have picky eaters, they don't like one thing, they do like another. They can kind of get different stuff. We talked to oh shoot, we had, I guess, the last tiny little thing that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was leaving something in. Is we had a mango. So,
oh yeah.
Hi, all the fish.
So a couple questions I'll answer while you're working on that.
Sure.
So Corinne, we haven't made sushi rice in a long time, actually. I don't know if we've made it since we have had the Instant Pot, but I think you absolutely could make it in the Instant Pot. I'm sure there's recipes online. It's not complicated to begin with, but the rice that we buy is basically sushi rice. It's Calrose, pretty close to sushi rice, if not. So I think you could totally do that. And then somebody else asked, Mom wanted to know where to get the black garlic soy sauce. Mom, I think I got it at kind of one of those like high-end. You can get it on the internet, if maybe even Amazon might have it.
I think they do.
But I think we got it at like Ballard Market, which is kind of a high-end grocery store. Something like Sprouts might have it, or Whole Foods kind of place would be a place to look. And then definitely like a nice Asian grocery store if you happen to have one of those close by. Seattle has a lot of great choices that way.
If your mangoes aren't kind of getting old, then you can use a peeler, to do the peely parts. But if they are, like this mango is.
This was a wrinkly mango, so
yeah, you
it's
can
nice
just,
and ripe.
Knock the side off. In fact, we actually looked at it just to make sure that it wasn't going terrible on us. So, you take the side, you just kind of cut into things, you press it down a little bit, and it sort of lets you go. Actually, it's easier to start from this end. You kind of just like go along the bottom here, to kind of get the stuff off. You can go from this side too. It ends up mushing it a little bit more. But yeah, so you just end up with some nice little mango-y bits. So yeah, this is, again, I'm sure somebody would yell at me for violating the sanctity of like what real poke is or something, because mango's probably not a thing. But mango's pretty good with this fish. In fact, one of the things we thought about doing was a sort of fruit salsa with mango and that's little bell pepper and other stuff.
I think the Hawaiians would think it's okay to put mango in there.
I would hope that they would see like.
I mean,
look,
as if the Hawaiians are all one person. But anyway, okay. So a couple of questions about the brand of the garlic soy sauce. So here is the bottle. So it just says black garlic shoyu. And honestly, I don't know if there's any other brand related information I can give you. Here's the back of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever. It's a video. It'll be take a screenshot. Just
It looks like it's imported by some company in Illinois.
It's kind of caught on. Like I don't think you're gonna have to search the internet long and hard to find.
It's
black
pretty
garlic,
fabulous.
Because everybody's all over the moon about it, and they should be because it's tasty. So yeah, when you not put that in the stuff.
Dick Carroll says like filleting a fish. Yeah, a little bit actually.
Kind of, huh? Yeah. Yeah, Dick, you're probably gonna laugh at me for my filleting efforts when we post the other video, but know that I tried to do justice to this thing that had been taken. So we've got this. I totally forgot to use like all of our stylish little bowls over here. So we got the mango, the stuff. We got some rice. Oh, edamame, we totally forgot to do.
Yeah, that's... so we have frozen edamame, which is another easy thing to find. Trader Joe's even has that.
Yeah.
So we'll put that with the little bowls.
Yeah. Cucumber, like sliced up and then thrown in with some vinegar is nice. We're kind of, we could like use our little pickled onions or something else. And then, sprouts are often good, but again, I'm going to go buy those. We don't have them, so yeah.
And then different kinds of radishes actually too are really awesome. And I've also seen, I was telling Chris I've seen corn on poke bowls and he was kind of horrified by that. Or peas, like depending on who your audience is, if you're feeding kids. I was just curious of this group that's watching who's made poke before. I don't know if anybody if this is your thing or, yeah. Got quiet all of a sudden.
Gonna fess up? Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Susan LeBlanc says looks fab. So we have some people I haven't seen before. So Bryce Elliott is watching.
Oh yeah, and went to tech with him, and he's actually just sent him a friend request today. Accepted. So how's it going, Brian?
And then Mark Laudenschlager, which I think has been on before, he's here. Some of the other people I've mentioned their comments already. Alex Kierwerski. Hope I'm saying that right.
Yes. Yeah.
Manish Thareja. Is that right?
He was, Alex from Disney and Manish is from Starbucks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. Who else are we looking for today? I think it's a pretty good list. Sean Caillouette.
Yes, yeah.
How am I doing with that one?
Way back when.
Jodon Ferris.
Yes, he was UL. We got a good distribution of all the various institutions.
David Pacheco.
He's Disney. Do you want me to make a bowl thing, or I know you don't like to jump in front of. Do you want to jump in front of the camera?
No, I'm not gonna get in front of the camera. Right. That's not part of the deal.
That's fine. We could just say, So if you were, like I said, to eat this, you can just get a little bit of this, and then put different things, at different times, or get some different ones and try out different stuff. If you're going to do a bowl, you can put some rice, or even some people use greens, and then different things. The wasabi's good in mayo too. Wasabi mayo is also a neat little thing to, So yes, so the avocados and cucumbers we don't have, but there's all kinds of good stuff we do. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for today. Any other questions, anybody? We're gonna post the video of the fish probably tomorrow, I'm guessing.
Yes.
But we'll post this one later, and then at some point we'll get some recipes out. This isn't a super specific recipe like he sometimes has. It's more just these are kind of the general, types of ingredients you can include and some vague idea of the proportions, but we'd also
what, you didn't see my careful measurements?
Well,
come on, guys.
We'd also like to see what you guys do with it, because I'm sure everybody's got their own ideas and has had their own things that they've had in restaurants or whatever that can be incorporated. So it'd be kind of cool to hear what everybody else does too. It's a little more like salsa, where you just kind of make it with what you have.
I'd love to go back and read the comments of people who post things that they make and ideas they have or whatever. I love that stuff. So
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
have a good, I don't know, have a good Memorial Day weekend, everybody.
Cool.
Enjoy the weather if you're having it, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Great to hear from
All right.
everybody.
I'm gonna go eat my ugly poke now.
Bye-bye.